In this episode of Restore It, it's part 2 of the M40 project. I've been keen to see just how rough this engine runs, so we'll be having a look at that first and then we'll move on to the interior, which is in need of many new parts, which I should start looking for sooner rather than later. So let's take a look at this engine. I got the battery to hold enough charge for a few starts, so here's the first time I fired her up. Okay, well that's not the smoothest engine I've ever seen. Definitely something wrong there. I look forward to having a look inside this engine and getting to the bottom of the issue, and hopefully hear it running smoothly again. Right, so first things first, I'm going to take the seats out and have a good look at the interior, give it a clean and start a list of all the parts that I need. Like this one for example. I mean, I could try and repair that, but I don't think it looked very good. Easiest option is just to replace it. As you can see, the door seal is split and will need replacing. And the piece of trim next to it, the B-pillar trim, has got this strange piece missing out of it and will need replacing. I'll look into having this seat reupholstered, but I'll also be on the lookout for a straight up replacement just to make things easier. Before I started the deep clean, I needed to remove some of the interior parts to get better access to the carpet, and whilst they were out, give them a good clean as well. I came across a strange problem, which was not being able to get any of my spanners onto the seat bolt because the rail was too close to it on one side. I had to make space between the rail and the bolt to get the seat out. I've never come across this problem before, let alone twice in the same car. Have any of you E30 owners seen this before? Well, I thought we got away with it there for a second. I thought it was quite a clean car. But taking a closer look, you can see it's actually quite disgusting. I got quite stuck trying to remove the back seats because the dowels that needed to move on either side were stuck, and I didn't know for sure if that was the correct way of doing it. After chatting on the Restore It Discord with a few of you guys, I was in the know and able to force the dowels to move, freeing the backrests from their mount. Right, so for those of you who are trying to remove your touring rear seats back bench part, the upright part, they sort of have two dowels on either side that you need to compress over that side, and then it will come out and then you can lift it off this side. Struts for this tailgate are at the top of the list because they're super cheap and I just know it will fall on my head if I leave it much longer.
Where's this car been? Here you see a very dead gecko.
I'm pretty sure we don't get these in the UK, but then again I'm not even sure what it is. I'm thinking this little guy must have come from another country at some point during this touring's 260,000 miles. Once the first pass was done, I went over all of the carpets with this air tool that shoots air in a circular motion to lift any deep set dirt and brings it to the surface where it can be vacuumed off. It's good to do this now because it sends dust everywhere. Once that was done, I dry vacuumed again and moved on to the carpet cleaner. I let it soak in before agitating it with a carpet brush that has a drill attachment on it. I was so eager to get to the carpet cleaner I forgot to remove the two centre console pieces. Don't worry, I ended up removing both. With all of the dirt loose but still in the carpet, I then used the Karcher Putty 10 to extract it, which by the way is incredibly satisfying to do. It was great to see the stained in rust and dirt being sucked up by the cleaner, then unexpectedly clean carpet being left behind. All was going great until I dropped it and broke a small hose connector in the trigger head. The replacement part was ordered, and whilst I waited for it, I set about removing and inspecting all of the door seals and kick trims to see what needed replacing and give the area underneath a good clean. Before we do that, I'd like to thank Get Roman for continuing to support Restore It by sponsoring this episode. Worryingly, erectile dysfunction is more common than you might think. A staggering 52% of men over the age of 40 experience ED at some point, and what's even worse is that roughly 75% of those guys don't seek treatment. That's why Get Roman has made it easy to chat with experts online. With Roman, you can get medical care for ED from the comfort and privacy of your own home, so you can handle everything online in a convenient, discreet manner. To get started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/restore and complete an online visit. If your expert decides that the treatment would be appropriate, they can prescribe genuine medicine that will be delivered in discreet packaging straight to your door with free 2-day shipping. And if you click my link at the top of the video description, you'll get $15 off your first order of ED treatment. So come on gents, talk to Get Roman's experts. ED can be a tough one to tackle, but it's really important to get checked out. With Get Roman, it's easy. Thanks again to Get Roman for the support. Let's get back to the M40 project. So as you can see, this door seal is shrinking and pulling itself away from the body. It's also split, so it will definitely need replacing, unlike some of the others which are just fine. I gave the underside of the trim a good clean along with each of the door cards. After a good clean, they all came up much better than I thought they would, and now I could see all of the repairs that needed doing. The vacuum was restored, and so I got back to work on doing all of the carpets inside the car and all of the seats and trim outside. It was at this point that I realised I still hadn't removed all of the centre console. I got so carried away with the vacuum I was skipping ahead of myself. But to be honest, I've wanted to use one of these things for years now and I've never had an excuse. This was the dirt picked up from the driver's side alone. Quite horrible if you think about it, but nice to know it's not in the car anymore. Next was the rear bench and boot. The glove box was removed, soaked in disinfectant, scrubbed, soaked in carpet cleaner and vacuumed like the rest of the fabrics. It was then reinstalled, just to keep it with the dash for now. The broken door card grab handle was also removed and put into the ever-growing to replace pile. There were a few spots of white paint on pretty much everything in this car. I'm not sure if it was house paint or car paint, but either way, thinners and a bit of scraping removed it from the carpets and the door cards. Very carefully scraping with a sharp knife and then using hot soapy water with a brush was a great way of getting it off the leather door cards. With the pieces I was planning on keeping clean and drying, I got to work on removing the handbrake and some broken trim. Any old window stickers that weren't original or that were in bad condition were scraped off. The pedal box covers needed work and so were removed, which revealed one extremely rusty pedal. I think I'll be taking the whole box off to remove any more rust it might have on it and behind it. To be honest, the carpet's probably going to come out at some point. And who knows how deep this will go. I may end up just stripping it down completely, but that's not the plan, and I'm trying my best to stick to it. So there we go. The interior is much cleaner. The carpet smells absolutely fresh. Old trim has been removed, the broken handbrake has been removed, and I'm now on the hunt for all of the interior that is far too disgusting to reuse. So whilst I'm waiting for those pieces to come in, I think I'll crack on with removing the engine and gearbox and start the big restoration on those. Next episode I'll also have the headliner removed, as well as possibly the dash to get started on both of those. You've seen just how rough the engine runs. I don't think it's worth trying to fix it whilst it's in the car. Take it out, start from scratch, and do a whole series, a full restoration, just like the M20. So that means next episode the bonnet's coming off, which will give me a chance to remove and replace the heat insulation. Little bits of trim like this, that'll all come off, and I'll make a start on restoring those. Once the car lift is properly installed, I'll lift her up and have a look underneath, see if there's anything that needs replacing, restoring, etc. And then once the interior's done, with all the new pieces sourced and fitted, the engine out, restored and working as it should along with the gearbox, it'll be onto the bodywork and the wheels, and I think I'm going to opt for a full respray just because it's super faded and there's lacquer peel in all sorts of places, this being the worst example. There are 2 or 3 parts of the carpet that need extra work, and I've currently got them soaking and will continue with them once I return to the workshop. I've already started the collection of parts for it, just the normal maintenance bits, and then we'll move on to the more specific parts as and when I need them. So that about sums this episode up. Thank you for watching, make sure you're subscribed if you'd like to see this thing finished, and I'll see you in the next one.